Our next speaker is Johnny Wee with the speech title, Are You Crazy? Are You Crazy? Johnny Wee.
Me? Crazy? Who said I'm crazy? Are you sitting there thinking, this guy's crazy? He's already been the international president. What's he doing in a speech contest? He has nothing to gain and everything to lose. Toastmaster Mike, friends, anyone who's been called crazy and anyone who's actually crazy, good afternoon. In 1990, I dared to dream that I would be a speech champion. You should have seen me then. I was a disaster. For the next several years, I relentlessly went after my impossible dream. As the song goes, I was determined to reach the unreachable star, ready to fight the unbeatable foe. But they were always unbeatable. Finally, in 1995, I ran for office. Guess what? Winning an election was so much easier than winning a speech contest. So I climbed the leadership ladder year after year after year until one day I found myself on stage at the World Championship of Public Speaking as the contest chairman. That was when I grabbed the champion's trophy and asked everyone to take my picture. I told the audience, if you can't win it, pretend you did. But pretend or win for real. Every contestant's attitude should be, do your best, improve your skills, come back and be even better. In the words of that great philosopher, Nike, trophies don't make champions, a lifetime of work does. Do you know such a champion? I do. In the 1930s, a curly-haired, porcelain-skinned teenager by the name of Rosita walked to market every day. As she did, she passed many department stores, and she always stopped to admire their display windows, daydreamed, and said to herself, someday I will have my own department store. Her challenge? She had no education, no business background, and no money. But with a sparkle in her eye and a pounding in her heart, she hit the sidewalks every day to sell soap and slippers. People lashed at her. Get a real job. You'll never sell anything. And when she didn't listen, they added, Rosita, you're crazy. And maybe she was. She had to stand under the heat of the sun or the pouring rain for hours. She had to contend with the dust and the car fumes all day. While her friends were receiving employee bonuses, she was receiving demeaning looks from passers-by. Every night, she went home limping, as the soles of her feet would be badly blistered, often bleeding. But every day she endured the pain and resolved to work harder because she knew this was the path to her dream. After a few years, she had saved enough to open a tiny textile store. Now, people shouted, Rosita, you're gonna go broke. And when she refused to listen, you're crazy. She turned to her husband and asked him, do you think we'll succeed? And he said, I think we're gonna go broke. Still, she worked hard and stayed focused on her dream. Every day, she opened her store from 5 in the morning until 10 in the evening. Even Mother Nature tested her. When it rained hard, her store would be flooded up to her waist, and strong typhoon winds would blow off her roof. But with every disaster, she took in the lessons and worked even harder. She would say, I have to. I need a new roof. And her hard work began to pay off. In 1957, she opened her first department store. As her business grew, so did her family. It wasn't strange for her to deliver a baby one evening and be up and about working in her store the following morning. Once again, people yelled at her, "You're crazy! You're neglecting your children! They'll grow up to be bums!" Well, not really. One of them grew up to be an international president of Toastmasters. My mother, Rosita, never won any awards or trophies. All she did was dedicate her life to her passion. A lifetime of work that left a legacy and a prime example of a true champion. I stand before you today to continue the legacy she left behind. I entered the contest because this is the best way to improve my skills. I compete because I am prepared to do a lifetime of work for my Toastmasters passion. How about you? Do you have some wild dream that you just could not get going because you're afraid? Be like the young Rosita in the 1930s and boldly take that first step. Are you afraid that people will call you crazy? It'll be short-lived. People stopped calling my mother crazy 50 years ago. Today, they sing praises to her memory. Or do you think you're too old? A friend once told me that he always wanted to be a lawyer. But he was 51 then, and he said, "I can't go back to school. In 4 years, I'll be 55. I replied, "Even if you don't go back to school, in 4 years, you'll still be 55. When my mother opened the last of her 5 stores, she was 72 years old. The great German writer Goethe said, "Whatever you think or dream, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." Fellow Toastmasters, if my mother were here, she would tell you, go, begin a lifetime of work on your dreams. Because if you don't, then maybe you're the one who's crazy.